perhaps would be useful. Transition gonna work? No. Hotkey's not working, great. Bam, there we go. I have to do it manually. Hey SNES, how's it going? Yeah, I love the intro to this game. Now we just go into the options for a quick second. Of course the music resets itself, so I have to lower that each time. Resume game. Okay, good, yeah. Oop. Hey Ace, how's it going? Right. So we've just got to Act 2. We did a little bit of Act 2. So Mundy's been murdered. Vimes has got it out for us, per usual. I do have a drink, so what is that? And now we've met a big troll called Horst, who the dwarf Alkali. And he thinks we have a sword. But also, Sapphire, the troll, from the Octarian Parrot, said she's come into some money. She said she got it from a casino, from here.
Saturnalia was almost legendary. The upmarket casino was situated on the King's Way and was frequented by the rich members of Ankh's high society and hopeful social climbers from Morpork. It was a temple to pride, greed, and avarice. And like any temple, anyone with money was welcome.
So let me know if the audio balancing is good. Can I look at anything, or can I just go in? I think we can only go in.
The last person I wanted to see was Death himself, waiting to take me to whatever hell awaits a failure like me. But after Death, Ilsa was a close second. My eyes were drawn to her the moment I entered the room, and I decided then and there that I wasn't going to talk to her. The next thing I remember, I was talking to her.
Hello, Luton. Still mad at me?
As soon as I learn how to offer forgiveness, you'll be the first one to receive it.
This is my companion, Two Conkers.
Pleased to be meeting you. You are Remora Salachi. Not the last time I checked.
This is Luton. He's an old friend of mine.
Why did he think I was Remora Salachi?
We're supposed to be meeting him here.
What do you want with an assassin like Remora?
What are you talking about?
I looked around to see Remora drawing a weapon. Assassins are damn good at what they do, but they're not allowed to kill innocent bystanders. I didn't know if it was bravery or stupidity, but I decided to stand between Remora and his target. Interrupting an assassin while he was working was a risky business, so I decided to ambush Remora with the old only answer questions with questions routine. Why did you try to kill that woman?
Why does any assassin try to kill someone?
Who put a contract out on Ilsa?
Don't you know better than to interfere in official guild business?
Why would anyone want to kill Ilsa?
Do you expect me to discuss a confidential case with you?
What do you want from me, Remora?
A swift death and a cheap funeral.
Ha! You lose. That wasn't a question, that was a statement. You're getting sloppy.
You're lucky we're only allowed to kill for money, because I'd take you out for free, Luton.
I'd managed to embarrass Remora in front of a crowd of social notables, and that was bad news. It was bad enough that I had the watch breathing down my neck without the Assassin's Guild baying for my blood. Fortunately, there was nothing they could do to me unless someone paid for a contract on me. Actually, that wasn't strictly true. They could tie me up and torture me for days if they wanted to, just as long as I didn't die. It wasn't a comforting thought.
Who was the woman?
Carlotta. What are you doing here?
I like to take risks. Isn't that what life is for?
I've taken enough risks to last a lifetime.
You didn't answer my question, you know. Who was the woman?
Ilsa, why do you want to know? Jealous? Afraid you might have a rival?
All women are rivals, Luton.
She's not important.
I see. If you decide to be honest with me, I'll be around.
It was the most unsettled I'd seen Carlotta get. I guess there was a heart in that cold chest after all.
Right, good grief. Well, that's good to know. What can we look at?
A roulette table sat in one corner of the casino, but it didn't keep my attention. I really didn't want to play. Carlotta didn't strike me as the gambling kind, but then with her look, she could probably gamble with other people's money. Personally, I thought that took the edge out of the experience, but I doubt she cared. The woman's name is Ilsa. She and I used to be close. It's over.
Why are you telling me this?
I thought you might want to know.
How is the case going?
Badly. Mundy's dead.
Dead?
Yeah, dead. Murdered. And not a pretty sight. I'm sorry.
Don't be. I'll survive. You could have chosen a nicer way to tell me.
I thought you might appreciate me getting straight to the point. Do you want me to stay on the case?
Is there still a case?
I thought perhaps you might like to know who killed Mundy and why.
Yes, I owe him that. You can continue with the case, Luton.
Do you want to know what happened with Mundy?
That's what I'm paying you for, isn't it?
Is it? I'm starting to wonder.
Don't you like me, Luton?
What's not to like? You're a woman like any other.
Do you look down on all women, or just the ones you know?
I have plenty of distaste to go around.
Now I might as well quiz it for a bit. Okay, cool. If you can double click that, you can go right back to the top. Alright.
Does 3712V mean anything to you?
Let's try not to get too side.
Do you know a big, dumb troll called Malachite?
I thought all trolls...
This one, do you know?
No, I...
No, we've already asked her that before, last time.
Have you heard of the counterweight killings?
No.
Mundy's murder looks like a counterweight killing.
Oh, I'm thrilled.
The person who killed Mundy hung him upside down and poked his eyes out. Can you think of any reason they might have done that?
What? No. Why should I?
Well, you knew Mundy. I didn't. I thought you might have an insight on it that I didn't. Did you kill Mundy?
What? What do you think I am, Luton?
It's got nothing to do with what I think of you, Carlotta. But the Watch are investigating, and if they find out about your connection with Mundy, you're bound to be a suspect.
So why are you asking me if I did it?
Let's just call it professional curiosity.
If I had done it, would you turn me in?
That depends.
On what?
On why you did it.
You don't strike me as a moralist, Luton.
I'm a simple man, Carlotta. I have simple ideas of what's right and what's wrong. The trouble is, things are seldom that simple. It's always somewhere in the middle ground. I try not to jump to conclusions. In my line of work, that can get you killed.
That must be a tremendous incentive to think everything through.
I do my best. You still haven't answered my question.
I didn't kill him, Luton, if that's what you really want to know.
Do you have an alibi? I told her when the murder took place and asked her if she had an alibi. I wasn't surprised when she did. Frankly, I reckon I could have said any day and any time, and she'd have had an alibi. She was that kind of woman.
There are witnesses who can corroborate where I was.
And where were you?
I was in the Temple of Small Gods.
Spend a lot of time on your knees, do you, sister?
We all need a little absolution.
For your sins?
Everything I do is a sin in someone's eyes.
Somewhere else to go. Lovely. He's not going to know Sapphire is.
Do you know anything about Count von Uberwald?
Be careful, Luton. I don't...
Alright. Bloody father-in-law. What about Horst?
Have you heard of a troll by the name of Jasper Horst?
Yes, I've heard of him.
What do you know?
I know that I've heard of him, but that's all.
That wasn't very helpful.
You're tough, Luton. You'll survive.
Achievements. Okay, we can ask these people that stuff. Whoops, no. Let's get the audio dialogue. No. There we go.
I want to talk to you about something important.
Really? I can't wait.
Not here. It's too public.
Your place or mine?
Yours is probably safer.
Let's go.
We barely spoke at all on the way over, and there was a certain tension between us. Gods help me, I liked it.
Well, we're alone. What did you want to talk to me about?
You've got a lot of smooth moves, Carlotta. You've managed to string me along like a kitten.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about you lying to me, sister. I'm talking about the way you used me to track down Mundy, and how you were planning to cut me out of the action when I found him.
You're paranoid, Luton.
Oh, I know I'm paranoid. But just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean you're not a lying, thieving lowlife. Tell me about the Golden Sword.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I think you do. And so does Jasper Horst.
You spoke to Horst?
Yes, I spoke to Horst. And he seemed to think that I had possession of the sword. Apparently Mundy had it, only he died before he could deliver it. Horst thinks I killed him and took the sword.
I didn't want you to get involved, Luton. It was too dangerous.
Ah, don't pull the hysterical woman act on me, Carlotta. It won't work.
All right, you got me. I used you. Everybody uses everyone, Luton. It's the way of things. Friendships are just what happens when you've used someone for so long, it becomes habitual.
You're a bitter little lady.
It's a bitter little world. What now?
You tell me everything.
Why?
Because you need me.
I don't need anyone.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? But even you aren't totally independent, Carlotta. You need the Count's money, for one. One word from me and I could get you cut off.
He wouldn't dare. He's too bound by tradition.
Perhaps, but can you really afford to take that chance?
What's the deal, Luton?
Straight cut. I'll help you recover the sword. We split the profit.
You think you can trust me enough for that to work?
No, but this isn't about trust. It's about money. You don't trust me any more than you trust Horst. But I figure you'd work with him if it got you the money.
You're smart, Luton, but you've got one thing wrong.
What's that?
I trust you more than I trust Horst.
Oh, I'm touched. But I reckon you'd trust a rattlesnake before you'd trust Horst.
You're a good judge of character.
Hang around with scum long enough and you learn to tell the different types of scum apart. Horst is the treacherous kind.
What about me?
You're just a woman, Carlotta, and that's not a compliment.
Why do you hate women so much?
I hate everyone and everything. No one gets special treatment. Now tell me the real story between you and Mundy.
Mundy wasn't my lover. He was my contact. He was supposed to be bringing the artifact in from Sota. But something went wrong on the way. I don't know what it was, but Mundy never made his rendezvous. I went with Reagan to the wharf to meet him, but he wasn't there.
Who's Reagan?
Tut tut. We have been lax in our investigating.
Just tell me who he is, Carlotta.
Henning's friend, if that's a meaningful word when it comes to the old relic. You should talk to him about Reagan, not me.
Do you know where Reagan is now?
No, he dropped me at the Temple of Small Gods, and that's the last I saw of him.
Did he know what was going on?
Reagan? Ha! No, I never told him anything. Everything I told him would have gone straight to the Count.
Anything else you haven't told me?
I'm sure there's plenty of things I haven't told you. The girl's got to have some secrets.
You're trouble, Carlotta.
Admit it, Luton. You like trouble.
What if I do?
I know what's going on inside of you, Luton. You're just like any other man, only a little more so.
When she kissed me, fire burned in my veins and I felt alive. Have you ever kissed someone who you didn't know whether to love or to hate? Well, other than your parents. Not that I'm prying into your private life, just trying to get my point across. Something changed in me at that point, and I knew I'd never be the same again.
I guess we have a deal then.
With my brains and your looks, we could go places.
What about with my brains and your looks?
We could still go places. They just wouldn't be as nice.
Did you notice it? Well, I noticed it because I know what it is, but did you notice it?
So, now we're working together, is there anything you'd like to tell me?
What like?
Anything you've kept back from me? Any lies you'd like to confess to, and secrets you're still hiding?
A girl's got to have some secrets, Luton.
Alright, I think that's enough for now.
I'll see you around, Carlotta.
I hope so.
I see Sir has returned.
Sir has.
Who would Sir like to see?
Is the Count receiving guests?
No, but he will see you.
Your interest in the Mundy case wouldn't have something to do with your missing companion, would it?
Why, Mr. Luton, I'm impressed. You actually do have some detective skills.
What's the deal?
He was my friend. Perhaps my last friend. He was a dwarf of simple tastes, and when I was younger, he drove my carriage for me. These days, given that I am confined to the conservatory, I have no need for a driver, but I kept Reagan on the payroll so that I should have someone to talk to.
When did he go missing?
3 days ago. He took the carriage out that night and has not been seen since.
And you thought Carlotta might have employed me to look for him?
I was hoping, yes.
You could always employ me to find him.
Wouldn't that be a conflict of interests?
I don't see why. Anyway, there isn't a conflict of interest that I know about that couldn't be solved with a generous cash settlement.
Be assured that if you can find Reagan, I can offer you substantial recompense.
Then I'll see what I can do. The Count gave me an iconograph of Reagan to help my investigations. My mind was already racing. 3 days ago, the Milka arrives. 3 days ago, Reagan disappears. Now, I believe in coincidences. Coincidences happen every day. But I don't trust coincidences. Something deeper was going on here, and I was going to find out what. Because I can't stand a secret, and because I have a burning need to find the truth. But mostly, because there was a wad of money in it for me if I found out.
Perfect. Alright, let's see if there's anything worth asking the Count since we're here.
I didn't want to discuss This was clearly something that...
Okay, I think we're done here.
I'll be back later.
I look forward to it.
Nope, new area. And... could have sworn we got another area. No, we didn't. Alright, let's go back to Saturnalia real quick. Not quite done there yet.
The croupier at the truncheon table was a man named Whirl. Whirl didn't give anything away for free. What's the game?
Truncheon. Interested, stranger?
The name's Luton. What are the stakes?
Minimum stake is $1 a hand. House limit is 10,000 per hand.
I'm in. Here's my dollar.
Hey, big spender.
Whirl told me how to play the game. Something to do with the major arcana and the private arcana. The major arcana had strange names like the Fool, the Pyrophant, and the unbelievable expense of a slice of cheese. Essentially, it seems I just had to stay under 21 and get as high as I could. It all seems pretty whimsical to me.
It's a whimsical world.
What happens in a tie?
I win.
That doesn't seem fair.
I'll note that down in the complaints book, shall I? Player thinks the odds might be stacked in favour of the house.
I didn't really know what I was doing, but I expected to lose my dollar anyway, so I didn't worry about it. But someone else at the table seemed pretty worked up about what I was doing.
That isn't the way to play it.
Why not?
Because it isn't the way to win.
Is there a way to win?
Well, there's a way to lose more slowly.
What's it to you?
I've seen enough losing. I don't want to see any more.
I only bet $1.
No, it's the principle of the thing.
What do you think?
I'm just a croupier. I'm not paid to think.
I lost my dollar, but I reckon I got value for money. And hey, the cards were pretty.
Plant the seed, grow the seed, eat the seed.
Do you own this place?
Saturnalia? No, you gotta be kidding.
Who owns it?
I don't really know. Probably a whole group of people. For all I know, no one owns it, and it just keeps ticking over all on its own.
Is that likely?
Frankly, I don't really care. As long as I get paid, it's all the same to me.
Don't you have an inquisitive mind?
No, I find people with inquisitive minds don't live too long.
Now,
I was told that I'd find a certain troll's body in the Salachi Mausoleum. Only when I got there, it wasn't the right body. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
You went rooting around in the Salachi family mausoleum. Hey,
oops.
Leave me out of this, Luton.
Do you know a troll named Sapphire?
Oh, I'm just a simple croupier. I wouldn't know anything important. And if I did, I certainly wouldn't give it away for nothing.
I guess you don't like to give away anything for free.
When you've worked in a casino as long as I have, you learn that you don't get anything for nothing.
Do you know what this is?
It looks like a purse.
I think I have something of yours in it.
Really? Oh, yes, so you do. And what do you know, my memory is suddenly much improved.
I thought it might be.
like a little
You know a
bird.
troll named Sapphire, don't you?
Yeah, I know Sapphire. She's a good customer. Always plays with cash. Never wins anything. Some trolls aren't born lucky, I guess.
She never wins?
She wins a little, but she always loses it again. She can't hold on to money. Few people can in this place. By the time she walks out the doors, she's always a loser.
Is there any chance she could have won big and you wouldn't know about it?
If she won it here, I'd know about it.
Anything more you can tell me about Sapphire's losing streak?
What's to tell? That troll holds on to money like a drunken dwarf holds on to his temper.
Time to excuse myself from the table, I think.
See if we can get out of
Warb was the most depressed and jumpy wizard I'd met. Maybe hanging around a casino did that to a man. You seem to get worked up over my gambling.
I'm not as easygoing as I used to be.
You're a wizard?
Wow, you're sharp. What tipped you off? The gown? The arcane symbols?
Look, I just thought you might want to talk. You tried to help me at the table, and I thought I'd make amends for being so rude to you. Sorry I tried.
No, wait. I'm like, sorry, friend. It's just, I'm on the edge.
The name's Luton.
I'm sorry. We haven't been properly introduced. My name is Warb. B-L-L.
BLL?
Well, Bachelor of Eldritch Lace Making.
Eldritch lace making?
Don't ask.
I'm gonna ask.
You a regular in here then?
I guess so. I'm not very lucky.
I thought all wizards were lucky.
Whatever gave you that impression? Do you know how many bizarre and unpleasant ways there are for a wizard to die inside the walls of Unseen University alone? One false invocation as you're summoning a demon, and bang! You're lunch for some pit fiend with more tentacles than legs and fewer arms than heads. Or spend too long in the wrong area of the library and poof, you disappear. All that you leave behind is a statistic.
Don't you like being a wizard? It always seemed like a glamorous profession to me.
There's nothing glamorous about wizardry. Well, except for glamours.
Glamours?
It's an elvish thing.
Well, thank you very much.
God damn it. Yeah, you're not elvish, are you?
If you're so unlucky, why do you come here?
I haven't lived a lucky life, but, well, I don't know. I guess I feel that in here, I at least have a chance.
But the odds are always stacked against you. The house always has the advantage.
Let me tell you something, Luton. The house always has the advantage. Here, out there, it doesn't make any difference. At least in here, you know who the house is.
That's a pretty stark outlook.
Ever made a decision that affected your whole life? Ever done something that throws everything into question?
No, I don't feel in that much control of my life.
None of us are.
I'll have a look at that in a bit, SNES. Actually, I could probably look at it now. Give me a second. Where are you? What the? Skyward Nautilus Earthly Spirit, what the hell? God damn it, SNES. Oh my god, Josh. Right, back to the game.
So you work up at Unseen University.
I was trained there. Once I got my degree, I moved on.
But you're still a wizard. I thought all you guys were under the jurisdiction of the university.
Yeah, I work for Unseen Securities now.
Unseen Securities?
Yeah, we make magical security systems. Very exclusive.
Are they expensive?
Oh, yeah. Hardly anyone can afford our services.
Oh, is anyone worth asking him?
I'm looking for a magical artifact, a golden sword. Does that mean anything to you, Warb?
A golden sword? I'd let go of that if I were you.
Why? What do you know about it?
Nothing. And neither do you. I'll forget you mentioned it, but you'd better forget about it altogether. It'll get you killed, you know. Mark my words.
Maybe I'll see you later.
I think that'll do for now. Right, so we've got a lot of... Where's the exit? Mouse, come here. Oh. Can I look at something else?
The River Ankh. Probably the only river in the universe on which you... I'd already...
Yeah, okay. So... So we've got the Reagan case to look at. And now we've got Temple of Small Gods. I do like this track.
The Temple of Small Gods was Ankh-Morpork's unique concession to all the thousands, perhaps millions, of small gods that the Discworld was home to. Most of the gods were so small they never got worshipped. The spirits of lonely trees, or the places where two ant trails crossed, and they stayed that way because they lacked belief. Give a god belief, one follower or 10,000, and it grows up from the void into whatever fanciful deity its followers devise. Everyone knows that people need gods to blame for everything that is wrong, or praise for everything that is right. But they forget that every god needs people, too. Inside the temple, a bazaar of fanatics, lunatics, and cultists of all descriptions were trying to sell their faith to prospective followers. 2 salvations for the price of 1. Extra indulgences if you get a friend to join. That sort of thing. The lost and the lonely came here seeking direction. I found it hard to picture Carlotta amongst their number.
So there's like a lot of dialogue you can get from this area if you do certain things in the right order. I don't know if you can get all of it, but there you go. Just a quick look and see if there's anything else we can see in here. Nope.
Malaclips drew attention to himself by virtue of the lack of crowds around him. Even the followers of Flatulus had a small crowd, but for some reason no one wanted to talk to him. It looked as if he had a metal fish hung around his neck.
Because I think Malaclips will at least... I thought there was a window there. I do believe he will make reference to the first 2 games. We get the right dialogue correct.
Who do you worship, then?
Why do you want to know? Who sent you? What do you want?
My name's Luton. I'm a private investigator.
You've been sent by the elucidated brethren of the Ebon Knight to silence me, haven't you? Their plots are so transparent. It won't work. I have protection.
There isn't an elucidated brethren of the Ebon Knight anymore. They were forcibly disbanded.
Disbanded?
By a dragon, as it happens.
Okay, that's the reference to the first game.
That's what they want you to think. That was all faked, so that they could eliminate all their traitors and go underground. Even as we speak, they are plotting to control the patrician by putting mind-altering drugs in the palace's water supply.
Then it's true. I'd heard that you were the only other person who really knew what was going on.
What do you want?
I just want to learn from you. Only you can teach me what is really going on in Ankh-Morpork.
You don't fool me.
I don't?
You just want to steal all my knowledge and then use it to further your plans of glory.
Ah, but I know that you know that, and you know that I know that. Which means we're at a stalemate. And since you know more than me, you have the advantage in a stalemate, which means that ultimately you'll beat me.
Yes! Yes! I see. You plan to try and use me, don't you? Well, many have tried to use Malaclips, and I have beaten them all.
No, I can't hide anything from you, can I?
Very well. I will let you, for as long as it serves my purposes to do so. What did you wish to know?
Yes, he's one of those people.
Which deity do you serve?
That's a big question. Which deity do you serve?
I don't serve any deity.
Then I don't serve any deity either.
I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
All right. You first.
I serve...
You didn't finish.
I am forbidden by an oath of loyalty never to speak aloud the name of the person of
Ah, the ancient mystic order of... Yes, I know all about you. I know every conspiracy turnwise of the Wormberg, and all but one conspiracy hubwards of the Great Neff.
Your turn.
I am the proud servitor of Errata, the goddess of misunderstandings, the mistress of mayhem, the countess of confusion, and the duchess of discord.
You know, sometimes I think I'm her servitor, too.
You get a free gold-plated apple if you join this week.
Interesting. It's like the beginning monologue mentioned errata.
Tell me about the goddess Errata.
There is no goddess greater than Errata. Have you not looked at the world and seen all the confusion and misunderstanding? Well, who do you think put it there? It didn't happen by chance. Nothing ever happens by chance.
So, every misunderstanding that has ever happened, Errata was behind them all.
Yes. She has started wars, and she has ended wars. Millions have died for the glory of Errata.
And presumably most of them believe they were dying for something else.
Oh, yes. The goddess is shrewd in her ways.
She must be very powerful.
There is no goddess more powerful than Errata.
Then why doesn't she just make everyone into her follower?
Let me tell you something, Luton. Everyone is a follower of Errata. They just don't know it.
How come you know that you're a follower of Errata?
I only think I'm a follower of Errata. I might be a follower of someone else, and I wouldn't even know it.
Errata thinks of everything, doesn't she?
Hopefully we get something useful out of him in a minute.
You said you knew all but one conspiracy, Hubwards of the Great Neff. What's the one conspiracy you don't know?
If I knew that, I would know all the conspiracies, wouldn't I?
You don't know anything about that one conspiracy.
Nothing.
Then how do you know that there is another conspiracy?
Because when I put all the other conspiracies together, I can see the pieces missing.
In other words, you can tell there's a conspiracy because you can't see it.
Everything casts a shadow, Luton. At least of some kind.
What if the missing pieces are a ruse by one of the conspiracies you do know about to try and distract you from paying attention to what they're doing?
No, that's too far-fetched.
So is there a formal church of Errata?
I am the formal church of Errata. I hold her sacred emblem.
And what would that be?
The scarlet totem that I wear around my neck.
And how do you go about joining the church?
I told you. Everyone is part of the Church of Errata. They just don't know it.
Alright, let's see if he knows Carlotta.
Do you know a woman by the name of Carlotta von Uberwald? Have you seen her around the temple?
Oh, yes. I know her. She's part of one of the darkest conspiracies. And they're plotting to take over the world by stealing the lost treasures of Errata and turning them towards a dark purpose. Don't trust her, Luton. Trust no one.
You know about Mundy's murder?
Of course.
Was she here when he was killed?
Yes. Yes, she was.
Do you know a woman named Ilsa and a...
No.
No? I thought you knew everything.
Not everyone is important in the grand scheme.
Do you know Al Kali?
The dwarf? Yes, he's an associate of Horst's. A minor player in the greater scheme of things, but dangerous nonetheless.
He does know, and also Luton has And nice conniption there.
Do you know Malachite?
They're planning to have him killed.
They? Who are they?
Nobody knows who they are. Only they know who they are. Maybe. I think they're the same ones who are putting poison in the beer.
Great, well that's helpful.
Tell me about the counterweight killings.
Rumor has it that the Sun Emperor's private assassin is here in Ankh-Morpork, silencing those who have found out about the conspiracy to keep the Agatean Empire out of the secret trade talks at Ecclepon, thus ensuring that the counterweight continent's stature in the world economy is weakened.
Hold on, slow down a minute. Who's the Sun Emperor?
The ruler of the Agatean Empire, of course.
The Agatean Empire? That's on the counterweight continent, is it?
Shh. Not so loud. Don't you know about the patrician's conspiracy to deny the existence of the counterweight continent to the populace? He could have us killed just for talking about it.
But everyone knows that the counterweight continent is real. We had a tourist from there a couple of years ago.
Privately, everyone knows, yes. But publicly, it's still just a legend. And the patrician makes sure it stays that way.
So what you're telling me is that an assassin from a nation that publicly doesn't exist is here killing off certain influential figures.
Exactly!
And all this has to do with a trade meeting at Ecclepon.
Apparently, there may be more to it than that.
Why Ecclepon? That's hundreds of leagues away.
Yes, but Ecclepon is the nearest port to the Agatean Empire. And agents of the Ochre Revolution from the counterweight continent are going to be at the meeting.
I see.
So yes, the Catnip continent is basically just an analogy for Japan. Or a well, you know what I mean.
Why was Mundy hung upside down when he was murdered? And why were his eyes poked out?
His body was offered up as a sacrifice to the creatures of the dungeon dimensions, the fetid obscenities from beyond time and space. Except errata caused them to get their rituals confused, otherwise the city would be crawling with helpspawn right now.
I think that would be a helpful hint if you didn't work out that he was hung upside down. Oh, in for a penny.
What do you know about Sapphire?
That troll is nothing but trouble. She's in with the Breccia, you know, the troll mafia. She ran up huge gambling debts and now she works for them until she's paid them off.
Interesting. No, we can't talk about account anymore. We talk about Horst.
What can you tell me about Jesper Horst?
Horst is a major player in several conspiracies. The Brindisian Illuminati are still after him for stealing the unholy pail. Certainly not someone to be messed with.
This guy knows everything. He's also a loony.
What do you know about Sapphire?
That's true.
Okay.
What do you know about
That she.
Cheap. Talk about it.
What do you know about a golden sword?
Sword? Sword? You are not worthy to talk of that. Be silent, lest I smite you. Never speak of the sword again until you have proved yourself worthy in the eyes of Errata.
Keep that in mind, then.
The Milka brought some interesting cargo into Ankh-Morpork, I heard.
Oh, yes. Most people know that the Milka is part of the advanced fleet for the Klatchian Navy, but not everyone knows that they are smuggling top-grade Klatchian pornography into the city. It's all part of the Brindisian Illuminati's plot to corrupt the moral minority and make Ankh-Morpork the most depraved city on the Discworld.
It's already the most depraved city on the Discworld.
Now you see what we're up against. Actually, the porn wasn't a patch on the homemade stuff.
Charmed, I'm sure. game is rated 12 plus, by the way. Right, have we exhausted all of our options now? It would be nice if this had a better menu system, but there you go. Aha.
What does 3712V mean to you?
It's the combination to the phantasmal vault of Capsicum. Even the lowliest neophyte of errata knows that.
Well, thank you very much.
Does the word Azil mean anything to you?
Azil? Yes. He was an Ascari in the Great Neff a couple of centuries ago, involved in the Great Light Dam conspiracy, which culminated in the theft of 12 barrels of light from the sacred distilleries of E, the Lost City.
What is 37?
It's the combination E.
That's not what I pressed, but okay. Alright. What do we got in the bag?
Do you know what this is?
It's a Hersheben groat.
What's a Hersheben groat worth?
Nothing. Unless you want to hire a member of the Hashishim, the first assassins.
The Hashishim?
The original assassins. A band of mad killers who are feared throughout Hubwood Clatch. They derived their name from the huge quantities of hashish they consumed. They are unique among killers in being both deadly and, at the same time, inclined to giggle and wear beads. The ones with the flared trousers are the most deadly of all.
And you'd pay one with a Hersheben groat?
No, but if you give it to one, he'll stare at it for hours and leave you alone.
Do you know a dwarf named Reagan?
Ah, yes. He's a member of the Shin Kicker Triad. A minor player, though.
Alright, I think we've had enough of you.
I'll have to go. The truth is out there.
Trust no one.
Live long and prosper and all that. Oh, Christ. Right. On we go. Sort of sounds like Zoom Beanie's music, actually. That's another game series I need to play.
Most of the statues were a mystery to me, but I recognized the odd face. There was Zephyrus, the god of slight breezes, and Lamentatio, the goddess of interminable opera. I thought I could see FedEx, messenger of the gods, in one corner. It would have been satisfying to smash up one of the statues, but it would probably have caused a lot of trouble. Religious emblems were scattered throughout the place. The sacred lace of Hyperopia, the goddess of shoes. The holy trolley of Mr. Safeway. The blessed chamber pot of the whinging martyrs of Constipata. Anything could become a sacred relic if you weren't careful enough.
Oh, that was good. I'm sorry, Mr. Safeway. Oh. That was a good title.
I didn't need a totem, and I wouldn't steal one from here even if I did.
Oh, Lordy B, right. Oh, a small pool, we can look at that.
The only non-denominational feature in the temple was a small pool of water in the central atrium. What was I going to do? Go for a swim?
Could do that, I guess. Right. Let's go talk to this guy. Oh, my eyes. Oh, Christ. Trav is hosting. Thank you very much, Trav. very kind of you. Oh, there you are. That's fair, dude. Don't worry. You can stop by. Ooh. My mooncalf, hang on. Pizza window. Yes, you're a VIP.
Behind Mooncalf was a beautiful stained glass window depicting Morphine, the angel of dreams, passing the recipe for the Discworld's first pizza to a mortal. If I strained, I thought I could just about see a bay leaf on the pizza.
Right, let's talk to this loon.
I was drawn to Mooncalf by his religious fervor. He was the kind of man who wouldn't miss a single event in the temple, no matter how trivial. He also struck me as the kind of fanatic who knew 100 words for infidel, and not one for compromise.
Yeah, that was a nice audio issue there. Because I think with a lot of the voices in these people, they do put some filters on there. Must have put a filter on Luton for some reason on that audio.
You with the hat. Have you accepted Anu into your heart?
The name isn't you with the hat, it's Luton. And no, I haven't accepted Anu into my heart. Why should I?
For it is written in the book of Kelpie, he who has not the spirit of Anu in his heart shall have his heart eaten by the Divine One on the day of judgment.
I'll take that chance.
Or you may mock, infidel, but the day of judgment is coming, mark my words. The signs are clear, the omens are unquestionable, the stars are right, and the auguries are undeniable.
What about the auspices?
The auspices are fair to light with a small chance of judgment day later in the eon.
I think you're taking the auspice.
Uka is free. No.
Did your church buy that window?
We are not a church, we're a cult.
What's the difference?
Demographics. Churches appeal to the high society element. Good for funding, but bad for grassroots support. Now, your average cult has much more of a street-level membership. Not so much money, but easier to get things done.
Well, did your cult buy that window?
No. It was purchased by the Eternal Seers of Revelation Joe many years ago. It depicts the moment when the Divine Prophet was given the recipe for pizza by the Creator.
How come you're working in front of it?
The Eternal Seers ran out of support decades ago.
It figures.
Pizza. P-I-C-C-A.
Now let me get this straight. The Eternal Seers of Revelation Joe worshipped pizza.
No, my child. The legends say that the first pizza was created by the Klatchian mystic Ronron Revelation Joe Sawadi, who claimed to have been given the recipe in a dream by the creator of the Discworld himself. Allegedly, the creator said that the pizza was what he had intended all along. Those who have seen the original say that what the creator had in mind was a small cheese and pepperoni affair, with a few black olives, and things like mountains and seas got added out of last-minute enthusiasm, as so often happens.
So who were the Eternal Seers?
The survivors of the schism of the Turnwise Ones and the resulting Grand Jihad.
Grand Jihad?
Yes. After the deaths of some 25,000 people, the faithful were allowed to add one small bay leaf to the recipe.
So is this divine figure in the window the creator?
Oh no. It is blasphemy for any to depict the rat face of the creator.
Because of his divine stature?
No. Because it is clear that world creation is not a divine act, but a rather straightforward mechanical function. Hence, to praise the creator would be blasphemy.
How does the creator feel about that?
He seems content. He's had some success with his design, apparently. The details are sketchy.
Same.
So, here I am, a fresh punter. Why should I choose your religion over anyone else's?
Because Anu is the true god of gods, more mighty and strong than all the others put together.
About half the gods in this temple alone claim to be the true god of gods.
But Anu reveals himself through his divine miracles.
Such as?
Ever looked at your thumb? Ever really thought about it? Ever considered what you couldn't do if you didn't have a thumb?
Anu is the god of thumbs?
No, but Anu bites away the thumbs of the non-believer.
I'm not convinced. Anything else?
Join the cult of Anu now to receive a free faux pearl statuette of the great god Anu, a $90 value, absolutely free. Be the envy of your friends as they roast in the fires of Sogorop.
Thanks, but I'll pass. So what is Anu the god of?
Anu Anu is above being bound to one single concept or idea. He is power incarnate.
Come on, level with me. What is he the god of?
It's not to be discussed with non-believers.
So this is less of a religion and more of a lucky dip.
Oh, I feel sorry for you on Judgment Day.
You keep mentioning Judgment Day. What do you mean?
Mark my words, it's coming. Darkness and evil shall descend on this city, and fetid corruption shall consume the very souls of the unbelievers. Only the followers of Anu Anu shall be saved.
Darkness and evil? How exactly are we going to tell Judgment Day from any other day in Ankh-Morpork?
By the time you realize what's going on, it shall be too late.
It generally is.
Alright, here we go again.
Does the word Azil mean anything to you?
I prefer to involve myself with more spiritual matters.
I asked Mooncalf where he was when Mundy was murdered. He seemed to take it in his stride. Perhaps religious fanatics are used to being suspects in murder investigations.
I was holding a service at that time.
Where?
Here, in the sanctum of the Temple of Small Gods.
So you have witnesses.
But of course, my entire congregation saw me give a glorious sermon in honor of Anu Anu.
So you can give me the names of some of your congregation to back up your alibi.
Betray the confidence of my flock? You must think me shallow of faith, Luton, to propose such a barbaric plan of action.
Shall I take that as a no, then?
Does 3712V mean anything to you?
I prefer to involve myself with more spiritual matters.
Okay, so he just says that. That's just a skippable thing.
I asked Mooncalf if Carlotta was in the temple when Mundy was murdered. Frankly, he didn't seem very sure. His face took on a vacant look, like someone trying to remember who won the boat race in the year of the asthmatic antelope.
Yes. Yes, I believe I saw her in the temple that night.
Does she come here often?
She is indeed a regular of the Temple of Small Gods. I myself have lectured her at great length on the virtues of the cult of Anu Anu.
Why does she come here?
Why does anyone come here, Luton? For answers. For absolution. Perhaps simply out of boredom. But mostly for something to give her life a meaning.
What makes you think life has a meaning?
20 million zealots can't all be wrong.
There are 20 million members of your cult?
Not of this cult, but every religion is testament to the quest for meaning, even if our cult is the only true religion.
Don't you feel like you're just servicing a group of selfish, self-obsessed, half-wit deities whose ability to survive without you is considerably less than your ability to survive without them?
Watch your tongue, Luton. Talk like an atheist and you can expect a lightning bolt to strike you where you least expect.
I'll take my chances.
Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conquers?
They are not followers of Anu Anu, and I do not associate with infidels.
What do you know of?
My time belongs to the god Anu Anu, and I thank you not to waste it.
Do you know a
No.
Have you heard of the counterweight killings?
I have not.
Nothing at all? Heard about any ritualistic killings in Ankh-Morpork?
Again, I have not.
I was suspicious. Most religious fanatics would have turned the counterweight killings into fuel for their zealous fire. Mooncalf's silence spoke more than words. Not literally. It wouldn't be much of a silence if it spoke. I imagine silences get kicked out of school for that sort of thing. The point was, I was suspicious of Mooncalf. There was something he wasn't telling me.
I'm trying to find out why a troll... Any thoughts?
I prefer to involve...
Do you know a troll by the name of Jasper Horst?
No.
You don't happen to know how a troll singer might end up with a lot of money by any chance?
I prefer to involve myself with more...
Do you know...
I prefer...
Have you heard of the count...
I have not.
Not heard of... Most... It wouldn't... There were...
Okay. No double up dialogue.
What can you tell me about a golden sword?
You should talk to Malaclips, the mad priest over on the other side of the temple. I'm sure he'd be delighted to talk to you about golden swords.
I've already done that, so fuck off.
Do you know any...
I prefer to...
Alright.
I had a feeling that Mundy's coin was important. Do you recognize the dwarf in this iconograph?
I do not.
Alright, bye. Bye. Well, that was basically useless. Head back to the office for a second. Notes. Where could we go to? Actually, hold on. We might be able to talk to some ale then for a bit.
I'd always respected Samael, and he'd always put up with me. I don't know why. I guess it didn't really matter. Taking a break, Samael?
Oh, yes. It's not easy working the piano all night.
Well, I'm sure you deserve it.
Thank you, Mr. Luton.
You don't have to call me Mr. Samael. We're old friends.
Sure thing, Mr. Luton. Old friends. I reckon I've earned the right to call you Mister.
As long as that's what you want. How's business, Samael?
It's pretty good, Mr. Luton. How are things with you?
Not so good. I think I'm so deep in trouble that I haven't even realized it yet.
You haven't had much luck, have you, Mr. Luton?
Not since the Hotel Pseudopolis.
That was when... Oh, I see.
That's okay, Samael. I don't mind talking to you about it. You're like family.
Okay.
Does the word is...
Sorry, Mr. Luton.
Can you think of any reason that Mundy might have been hung upside down before he was killed?
Sorry, Mr.
Does 3712V mean anything to you?
Sorry, Mr.
What do you...
Sorry.
Have you seen Ilsa recently?
You weren't expecting her to be here, were you?
No, I wasn't.
I've not seen her for a while. Last time she was here, she was with a foreign gentleman. I think he might have been from the Agatean Empire.
Yeah, that'd be two conkers, I guess. How come you know about the Agatean Empire? That's not common knowledge, is it?
Worked the piano for enough years and you hear just about everything.
Any idea where they might be now?
I don't know, Mr. Luton. But I think they might be in trouble.
You could be right. What do you...
Sorry.
Do you...
Sorry.
You hear a lot of talk around here, Samael. Have you heard anything about the counterweight killings?
Oh, yeah. I've heard the talk. It's making the customers nervous.
What do they say?
Just rumors. You know how rumors spread.
Well, let me know if you hear anything that has the ring of truth to it. I'm trying to... Any thoughts?
Sorry.
Exhausting all the dialogue first.
Do you know a troll by the name of Jasper?
Sorry.
You're...
Sorry, Miss... Sorry.
I didn't want to discuss the golden... This...
What can you tell me about any interesting cargo that's come into Ankh-Morpork recently? Saw him.
Alright, hang on.
I had a feeling. Do you recognize the dwarf in this iconograph? Saw him, Mr.
Well, that was useless. Mouse, come on. Let's see what Nobby's up to.
There was something about the way the other members of the Watch looked at me that let me know that no matter how innocent I was still stained with suspicion. Still, I'll take the stains of suspicion over the tarnish of guilt. Suspicion was easier to wash out. Sometimes I think I'd just give up and crawl inside a whiskey bottle. Except that you can only do that if you are less than 1 inch high. Doesn't look like I'm too welcome around here. Of course, I haven't been welcome here since I got kicked off the force, but at least then they just thought I was corrupt. Now they think I'm a murderer.
Nah, Luton, you've got it all wrong. They don't think you're a murderer. They think...
That my personal hygiene is appalling?
No.
That I have the Klatchian plague?
No.
Face it, they think I'm a murderer.
You know, give me a minute, I'll think of something.
Nobby, you've never thought of something printable in your entire life. Why should you start now? I'm looking for a dwarf named Reagan. He's been missing.
Missing? What kind of missing? Missing for a few hours, missing person, missing in the shades? Help me out here, will you?
Missing person, I guess.
How long's he been missing?
3 days.
3 days? You've got to be kidding. That barely counts as a hangover in Ankh-Morpork, let alone a missing person case.
How long would he have to be missing, then?
I'd say at least 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Of course, it'd depend on who he was. If the patrician went missing for 3 hours, it'd warrant an investigation.
Justice for some, eh?
Well, a fat lot of help. Right, back we go.
Does the word...
No.
I take it I'm still the prime suspect for Mundy's murder.
Afraid so, Luton.
I take it you realize that Mundy was hung upside down from the rafters.
Well, yes, of course. Yes. Hung upside down. Yeah.
I can't believe that the person doing the most work on this case is also the prime suspect. Does 3712V mean anything to you?
No.
What do you...
Never heard.
It didn't seem worth... Do you know a...
Never.
How did you know he...
Every...
Okay.
Mind you. One.
Now we've done
I'm
that one already. Yeah, I've talked about Malachite.
Tell me more about these counterweight killings.
I'm not really sure I should, Luton. Sorry.
Come on, Nobby. You can trust me.
Well, no. Look, Luton, I can't tell you.
Why not? Shouldn't I know?
It's not to be discussed with anyone who's not part of the case.
Ah, I see. Well, that makes sense. Obviously, you wouldn't want people not involved with the case learning about it.
Exactly.
And I'm the prime suspect in that case, right?
Well, you're the prime suspect in the Mundy case. But the prime suspect in the counterweight killings is that foreign spy who's been killing all the prominent people. Like that bloke up at Unseen University and that fellow in the Patrician's Palace.
Right. Well, I won't ask any more questions then, seeing as how I shouldn't.
Thank you, Luton. I appreciate it.
Okay, so that's something to go on. Even though it didn't get written down.
I'm trying... Any thoughts?
Can't help you with that, Squire.
That's worth going through them, honestly.
Have you heard of a troll called Horst, Nobby?
Oh yeah, he's a treasure hunter, he is.
How come you've heard of him?
Well, Vimes always asks us to keep an eye on him when he's in town.
Is he a lawbreaker then?
Well, he's careful never to get caught doing anything against the law.
Bit like you then.
Yeah, a bit like... No. Now you hang on a minute. I am completely law-abiding.
Yes. You're as innocent as the next man in Ankh-Morpork.
Exactly. Well, if I can pick the next man anyway.
Oops. God damn it.
You don't happen to know...
I don't know.
Do you know...
No.
Alright.
What if I told you that I was working on a case that could make us both rich? What if I told you I had a lead on a golden sword of untold value? What would you say to me?
I'd say you're having me on. Come on, Luton. What do you take me for? Still, untold value, eh? Is that a lot? I mean, my vest has got untold value, too.
Interested?
Nah, it's gotta be a wind-up. Golden swords. You must think I was born yesterday.
Oh, you were born, were you? I always thought you were hatched out by the sun, Nobby. Do you know anything about the Milka's cargo?
Give me a break, Luton, I don't...
Well, I'm sure I'll be back.
Yeah, right, Luton.
Some info out of it, there's nothing new. See Malachite again. Oh, thank God he's gone.
All I knew about the statue was that it was a work in progress. I didn't have any reason to steal Rodin's statue. Malachite was the biggest troll I'd ever seen. Actually, Malachite was the biggest living thing I'd ever... Well, for a brief moment I considered trying to make small talk with Malachite. Then I came to my senses. You just can't get talk that small. Do you recognize the dwarf in this iconograph? Malachite was as talkative as a corpse.
Alright.
Does the word Aziz...
I guess not.
Can you think of any reason that
Yeah, the manga thing at the British Museum starts in May. You want to look at that? I don't know.
Right, we're back. Oops.
Does 3-7... What do you know about a woman named Carlotta? Malachite was a...
Boo.
Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers? Malachite...
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get any of Malachite.
Do you know...
No, he's not.
Pretty good.
Can you think of any reason...
He's like that. Makes me think of Virtua Fighter.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to find out... Any thoughts?
Don't know nothing.
See if there's anything so far. Oh,
Do you know a troll by the name of Jasper Horst? Malachite was as talkative as a corpse, and only slightly more attractive.
charming.
You don't happen to know. Do you know anything about Sapphire's losing streak? I didn't want this.
Alright, we got nothing on him. Right. Again, useless.
Still here?
Not for much longer.
This.
Not done. What about the cargo?
What can you tell me about the cargo you just brought in?
It was heavy, and it was all packed into crates.
That's not very helpful. It's what was in the crates I'm interested in.
If they wanted us to know what was in the crates, they would tell us.
But you could be shipping anything. Aren't you just a little curious?
A little being curious makes for a lot of being dead.
Don't you ever peek?
Even if I did, I wouldn't tell anyone about it.
Good.
Do you know any...
Sorry, I wouldn't.
Do you know a troll named Sapphire?
I can't say I do.
Do you know a troll by the name of Jasper Horst?
Doesn't ring any bells, I'm afraid.
Do you know what...
Doesn't ring any...
Can you think of any reason why...
I didn't think you needed a reason to kill people and hang more pork.
Everything has a reason.
I've never been one for teleology.
Don't start. I can do without the philosophy.
Suit yourself.
When I gave Ilsa and Two Conquers' description to the first mate, his eyes lit up.
That sounds like the two strangers from the last voyage. You're not with the Watch.
Not anymore. Why do you... You don't...
Yeah, we've had that one already.
What do you know?
Doesn't ring any...
Does 3-7...
Sorry, I...
Can you...
I didn't...
Ever...
I...
Don't... I...
Suit...
Does the word...
Sorry, I...
Oh,
Well, say for... If that...
Good grief. I guess we could go back to Horst. I don't know. No, I don't want to go there. Mouse.
The game Whirl was croupier for used a Carrack deck, the distilled wisdom of the ancients painted onto cards. I didn't need any of the cards, although I would have liked a few to decorate my office. Maybe the Ace of Octograms, the Inquisitor, the Exquisitor, and the irritating habit of finishing off other people's sentences. Can we talk, or do I have to play that stupid game again?
Business is slow, we can talk.
Time to Hello again.
Luton!
You a regular in here?
I guess so. I'm not very lucky.
I thought all wizards were lucky.
One, you,
Don't you... It all...
well, it's a...
Okay, we've seen talked to that.
Ever seen a dwarf called Reagan around the casino?
Sure. Well, I've never spoken to him, though.
What does he play?
Truncheon, roulette, onion, craps. He plays them all a little. He always seems to win, but he never pushes his luck. He wins, and then he stops. That's his way. I wish I had his luck. I'd make much better use of it.
Oh wait, we can go talk to Sapphire again.
Does
I'm afraid I can't really...
Hold on.
do you?
I don't know.
Nope.
Do you know anything about the Milker's cargo?
I'm afraid...
Maybe I'll...
There we go.
I've got some more questions for you, Sapphire.
Sapphire busy. Leave her alone.
I know about your problems.
Problems?
The debts. The huge losses. You're struggling just to keep your head above water. I bet you've had to make all kinds of nasty compromises just to keep yourself going.
What you talking about? Who been saying such things about me?
Does it matter?
It mattered to Sapphire.
All right. I heard it from Whirl, and he should know.
Huh, Whirl. He don't know everything goes on at Saturnalia.
Well, that was helpful, I guess. I don't know.
Do you reckon?
You must think I know whole town.
This is where this game gets tricky, because there's so many locations, so many people, so many dialogue options. Right, fuck it, we're going to Lost.
Mr. Luton, it is always a pleasure to see you. I trust you have brought something with you that will be to my liking.
I haven't brought you the sword yet, if that's what you mean.
I'm a patient troll, sir, but there are limits to my patience.
Hold on.
Do you recognize the dwarf in this iconograph?
I cannot say I have made their acquaintance.
You let me keep the coin from Sorta. Why?
As a token of faith, nothing more. After all, the coin has little value of its own. But for those that know its origin, it immediately links you to the greater reward.
The sword is from Sorta too.
Let us not play these games, sir. Games are the pastimes of the tedious and of the bored, and we are citizens of the world, are far above such petty concerns. I dislike a man who plays games in his conversations. I prefer my associates to be direct and to the point. You cannot trust a man who takes forever to get to the point.
You don't happen to know.
Become, sir. Let us not.
Can you tell me anything about the...
I had assumed I know only what I've heard. That there is a spy from the counterweight continent in Ankh-Morpork, and that he is killing people in a manner that is both striking and extravagant.
I considered asking Horst about the Milker's cargo, but I didn't want to tip him off that I didn't have the sword. You're still interested in buying the sword off me, I suppose?
Naturally. I am not a fickle businessman by any stretch of the imagination.
But you won't tell me anything about it.
Come now, sir. In our line of business, information is as valuable a currency as the dollar. I am not about to give you for nothing what may have greater value as a secret.
Perhaps I'd be more inclined to sell to you if I knew what I was dealing with.
Perhaps, and nonetheless, I am in no doubt that no one can match the prices I am offering, and hence, I have no doubt that ultimately, you will have to sell to me.
You could be right. We'll see.
I'm missing something.
There didn't seem much...
Do you know what...
I cannot say
What do you know about...
A strange question, sir. But you have your reasons, I'm sure. I must say I was impressed. That disguising the murder as a counterweight killing was clever. But knocking yourself out after the murder was a masterstroke. A gamble, certainly. But the greater the risk, the greater the reward.
Right, we're back.
Does Al Kali work for you?
Mr. Al-Kali and I have a complicated working relationship. He and I have been associates for some time.
Does the word is...
Becomes her. Becomes her.
Does three...
Becomes...
That's not what I pressed. Why is that hitbox so massive?
I'll be back.
And hopefully to seal our deal, sir. I look forward to it.
What? Where did we get a new location? Where? There is... Save. Oh. Where the crap do we go?
I'm back.
Let's have a party.
Do you know anything about the Milker's cargo?
Just one thing. That the cargo of the Milker is confidential and I won't discuss it with you.
I did this.
Okay, this is a lot easier. We just go back to the top. Right, this is pointless. Oh. Hold on. Try something. Talk to Whirl.
Can we talk?
We can talk.
Do you recognize...
Sure, that's Reagan.
You know him?
He's a regular here at Saturnalia. He doesn't gamble much, but when he does, he wins. The rest of the time, he hangs around in the crowd.
Who does he talk to?
Hey, I don't spy on the customers.
Why not?
I have to keep my eyes on the tables.
When did you last see him?
It's been days, I think.
Anything else you can remember about him?
Yeah, he has a safety deposit box.
A deposit box?
There we
A
go.
lot of valuables change hands here. Some people like to have somewhere safe to keep them.
But you say Reagan didn't gamble much.
Well, I don't know why he has a box. I just know that he has one.
I
guess an upmarket establishment like Saturnalia needed safety deposit boxes. They certainly needed them more than I did. I couldn't open the boxes without a key.
Let's go talk to the Count about this.
I see.
Sir,
Who?
is the...
Ah, Luton. I was hoping you would drop by.
You don't sound so good, Count.
I am not the man I used to be, that is certain. Past my prime, you might say. Yes, past my prime.
I could come back later if you want.
No, there is no guarantee that I will be getting any better. If anything, I might be worse.
Your health?
We are both men of the world, Mr. Luton. I will not mince words with you. I am dying. I might last another year or so, or I might not last the week. And to think I thought Ankh-Morpork would be good for my health.
Not too many people would believe you, certainly.
Let us dispense with the pleasantries and get straight to business. Yes? Yes. Straight to business.
Is there anything useful you could tell me about Reagan that would help me find him?
Only that he was a dwarf, a good driver, and that he liked a rat burger as much as the next dwarf.
I had...
Oh. So helpful.
I did this... Do you know anything?
I'm sorry, but...
I'll be back later.
Oh, that wasn't much help.
Come to persecute. A man's got... Do you know any...
Leave me alone.
That's all.
Always.
That's useless as well. Oh god, what do we do?
I need your...
They'll...
Do you know...
Ah, yes.
Because we had clues. We had like at least 3 manners of investigation.
I have some more...
Just all
Ask
gone.
them.
What else?
Do you reckon...
I do not.
I see. Who?
I'd like... Is she...
She may. I will go and...
I needed to...
I'm always happy to fulfill your needs, Luton.
So, now we're working together, is there anything you'd like to tell me?
What like?
Anything you've kept back from me. Any lies you'd like to confess to, and secrets you're still hiding.
A girl's got to have some secrets, Luton.
So, you went with Reagan to the wharf, but Mundy wasn't there. Then Reagan ran you to the temple, and that was the last you saw of him.
That's about the size of it.
Now that there are no secrets between us, do you know what this is?
I've no idea. Some sort of coin?
You must have known something about the Milka's cargo.
Yes, I had a crate amongst the cargo. It wasn't carrying anything important. It was just for Mundy to hide the sword in if it became necessary.
But the sword wasn't in the crate.
No. The last I saw of the crate, Reagan had it. I don't know where it is now.
Do you have anything that might help me find it?
I have a shipping order. You can have it if it's useful to you.
It could be.
Oh,
Any lead is a good one at the moment.
Oh my god, finally we're getting somewhere. Thank you. Goodbye.
I'll see you.
I hope so.
Thank fuck for that. Right.
I have a few more questions.
You're persistent, I'll give you that.
I've come to collect some cargo.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm gonna swallow that, aren't I? I mean, you come up asking questions about cargo, and I won't tell you about the cargo. Then, miraculously, you're here to collect some cargo. You must think I was born yesterday.
Well, I can always take this shipping order to your boss and say that you wouldn't let me collect my cargo.
Okay. Well, let's not be too hasty, eh? I mean, I have to be skeptical, right? I'm a watchman. Where would we...
Oops.
All right. You win.
I eventually persuaded the watchman to show me the ledger for the recent deliveries. The Milka had been carrying some wine barrels that were shipped to the Café Ankh and some crates under the name Varberg. According to the watchman, they were collected by the Guild of Archaeologists, Antiquarians, and Tomb Evacuators. I guess somewhere was the von Uberwald crate that went with the shipping order, but the watchman didn't know about it, and there was no sign of it in the warehouse.
Progress. Oh, sweet Jesus. Right. Guild of Archaeologists. Okay. We also went to the Cafe Arc.
I guess I never really noticed that the Café Ankh had a wine cellar before. Perhaps if they'd run out of drinks at the bar, I'd have been more inclined to investigate. I knew full well that I wouldn't be able to get down there without permission and the right key. Some ale.
Mr. Luton.
Here we go. Wine barrels, van. Crates. Crates.
Apparently, some of the cargo on the Milka was delivered here.
That's right. The Milka always brings us a supply of amphibian wine.
Where is it now?
Most of it is still in the wine cellar. We sell some of it on.
Who to?
Lots of different people. I have a box of receipts in the cellar if you're interested.
Sure.
I'll give you the key.
Some ale.
Mr. Luton.
Some ale. Ooh, nice. Oh, that's a... Beautiful. Beautiful glitch right there. Gonna have to clip that later. Let me just walk through myself. Now this patch is a little bit buggy. Right.
I knew full well. Years ago, it would have been my dream to stand in the Café Ank's wine cellar. So many barrels of fine wine. Even Chateau Hector, Year of the Weevil. My favorite vintage. I used to dream of Ilsa, too, from time to time. So when I walked in to find Ilsa there, I had to check I wasn't wearing my pajamas. Just like Samael had told me, there was a box of receipts in the cellar. I rooted carefully through the receipts, and the only recent purchaser was the patrician. It seems he'd bought a number of barrels of fine wine to take to the palace. I guess the golem I'd seen at the cafe was owned by Lord Vetinari.
Another place to go. Right.
Most of the wine barrels in the Café Ank's cellar had been brought into Ankh-Morpork on the Milka. I didn't really need a wine barrel. My ex-lover Ilsa and her companion two conkers were hiding out from the Assassin's Guild in the wine cellar. Hello again, Ilsa. I can see I'm going to have to get used to finding you where I least expect. You didn't say goodbye at the casino. What happened to you?
We got away, thanks to you.
It was nothing.
It wasn't nothing. You saved our lives, Luton.
Lulu, is that you?
What's up with him?
He's delirious. He's been injured.
Let me have a look at his wound.
He'll be fine. He needs a chance to rest, that's all. He fades in and out a little, but he'll be okay.
What happened?
It was Remora. He's been following us. He won't quit.
He's an assassin. It's his job. Once they've been paid, the target is as good as dead. They never renege on a contract. They throw great soirees as well. And if they invite you, they won't take no for an answer.
That's not much comfort.
Well, at least you know if an assassin kills you, you're not going to be killed by some thug. They're very efficient at it. Practice makes perfect, you might say. I was going to be an assassin once.
What happened?
The usual. Forces outside my control.
It is you, from Casino. You save our life. We to be in your debt.
I guess you to be just that.
We need your help, Luton.
Haven't I done enough for you?
I know it's a lot to ask after what happened.
Women. It's never enough for you, is it?
Please, you have to find us somewhere safe to hide.
Why? Why should I do that for you? Why should I do anything for you?
Not for what happened, Luton. For what we had. Once.
We had a dream. Trouble is, I woke up and I could still remember it. Does he know about us?
Two conkers? No, I never told him.
Why not?
He's my husband.
You're married?
I always was, even when I met you.
Why didn't you tell me?
It's not as simple as that. I met two conkers in Ikalpon. He was on a secret dig for the Sun Emperor and we fell in love.
I thought the Agateans weren't supposed to know about the outside world.
That's true, but the outside world isn't supposed to know about the Agatean Empire either. Trouble is, centuries ago, their empire spread beyond the counterweight continent, and there's archaeological evidence for the strange and charmed Quack dynasties all along the Turnwise Ocean coast. The Sun Emperor sent two conkers out to cover up the evidence.
This doesn't explain why you didn't tell me you were married when we met.
Two conkers went back to the Agatean Empire, and I stayed behind. He wasn't sure I'd be safe there as an outsider. I didn't think I'd ever see him again. He might as well have died. I almost died too, until I met you.
Great. I was your number 2 husband.
You don't understand, Luton. I didn't love two conkers. I mean, I was infatuated with him, and he needed me. I was nothing before I met him. He gave me a purpose. He gave me a life.
Oh, that's good. Because he took mine. At least his accounts will balance. He came back, didn't he? That's why you left me.
Yes, I got a letter from him saying that the government had been overthrown and the Empire was a new world. I wanted to tell you, but I didn't think you'd understand.
At least you got that right. So, you're Mrs. Ilsa Conkers.
No, I kept my maiden name. Our marriage was supposed to be a secret.
So you've been traveling with two Conkers for quite a while now.
Yes, we've been making our way around the Circle Sea. There have been several digs.
And everything you find goes back to the Agatean Empire.
No, not now. There's no point. Most of it comes here to Ankh-Morpork. We give it to the Guild of Archaeologists, Antiquarians, and Tomb Evacuators. They have quite a collection of artifacts.
That's it? You spend your life digging up junk that no one ever sees?
We're looking for something. Something two Conkers wants to take back to the Agatean Empire.
What is it?
A jewel.
Jewel. Find the jewel, yes?
Tell me about this jewel.
Gold-plated jewel. Very old.
I thought the Agatean Empire had plenty of gold.
Special artifact. Gold to be making it come from Agatean Empire. Stolen by one of your gods. Great fortune to Empire if it can be returned to us.
How will you know if you found it?
Gold-plated jewel not common. This jewel be having inscription. Unquam paratas.
It means forever ready.
You don't even know if this jewel actually exists, do you?
We've just come from a dig in Sota. It's a village near the ruins of the ancient city of Sort. We found inscriptions there of many artifacts, including this jewel. It exists, all right. We just haven't been able to find it.
If all these inscriptions were in Sorta, what are you doing here in Ankh-Morpork?
That's just it. The inscriptions claim that the jewel is here in Ankh-Morpork. Apparently, after the fall of Sort, the jewel was held by monks in the village of Sota. But over 4 centuries, the Knights of the Order of the Sacred Tulip went out on quests to find it.
Why?
They were knights. They went on foolish quests all the time. It was a knight thing. I think all the different orders competed to outdo each other in foolishness. I heard the Knights of the Fairly Pink Triangle spent 2 centuries looking for a better name.
And you think one of the knights found it?
Apparently. The inscription said he took it to Ankh-Morpork, there to guard it forever.
Forever?
You know these ancient inscriptions. They have a tendency to exaggerate everything. It probably meant nearly forever.
Oh boy, right. Oh, let's just go through the list.
Does 3...
Well, it could be a catalogue number.
A catalogue number? For what?
In the Guild of Archaeologists, they have a collection of artifacts there. And they all have a catalogue number.
Are you sure that's what it is?
No, of course not. It could mean anything. But it's a possibility, at least.
Okay. Something to do when we go down there.
Have you heard of the
The what?
The counterweight killings. Word is all across town, it seems.
That's what they were talking about in the casino. A foreign assassin in town killing prominent officials.
That's it. The ritualistic murders in town. People must have heard about 2 Conkers, and word has got around that there's someone from the counterweight continent in town.
The rumors must have got mixed up somehow.
There's no somehow about it. Rumors always get mixed up. Do you think the Duke of Earl is really as stupid as people believe? Of course not. But every time someone does something stupid and no one can remember who did it, it gets blamed on the Duke.
You mean he doesn't have the mental powers of a mushroom?
Well, there's some truth in all rumors.
So people think 2 Conkers is an assassin. This is insane. He couldn't hurt a fly. He couldn't even catch a fly. Come to think of it, he couldn't even catch a cold.
It doesn't matter whether or not he's an assassin, only that people think he is.
Well, can't we just go to the patrician and get the whole thing cleared up?
We could, but his idea of clearing the whole thing up probably means handing 2 Conkers over to the Assassin's Guild. He rates tidiness over justice.
Would they let us go if we explained?
They don't care whether he's an assassin or not. They've been paid. It's all over but the receipt.
Then you're our only chance. Help us, Luton. You're our only hope.
What do you want me to do?
You have to find somewhere safe for us to hide 2 Conkers. Somewhere that no one in their right mind would look for him. Please, Luton.
Listen to me. Nowhere is safe. There's nothing I can do for him. I can't help you.
At least think about it.
That isn't going to take me long.
I've only been going about 2 hours.
Do you know a troll named Jasper Horst?
Horst, I've heard of him. He's a treasure hunter, isn't he?
So it seems.
I heard that one of his employees was in Sota when we were. I don't know what they were doing, though.
I'll just clear up this now. Stop for a bit.
You two must know about a lot of ancient artifacts.
Of course. Why do you ask?
Ever heard of a golden sword?
Golden sword? You have to be being more precise. Must be 50 golden sword artifacts in Agathian Empire alone.
But then they do have a lot of gold. That's why they call it the Orient.
Oh, boo.
I didn't think they had anything more to tell me about the jewel. Do you know anything about the wine barrels the Milka was carrying?
Sorry, Luton. We don't know anything.
Do you know anything about the crate belonging to the von Uberwalds that was on the Milka?
I don't think we can help you with that.
I'm trying to track some of the cargo on the Milka. A set of crates that were supposed to belong to a Varberg.
That's me, Ilse Varberg.
You never told me your name was Varberg.
Names weren't that important to us back then, if you remember.
I guess not. So the crates are yours?
Mine and two conkers, yes. They should be at the Guild of Archaeologists by now.
What was in them?
Artifacts from the dig in Sota. Nothing valuable, except in the historical sense.
I need to get to them.
I can get you into the Guild if you want, but it'll cost you.
What do you want?
Find us somewhere safe to hide two conkers. He's not safe while Remora is looking for him.
That's true. But nowhere in the city is going to be safe.
You'll have to find somewhere that no one would even think of looking for him.
It'd take a miracle to conceal two conkers, and the patrician has outlawed miracles.
That's my price. If you hide two conkers, I'll sign you into the Guild. You'll never get in there without me.
I'll do what I can. That's all I can do.
That's all I ask.
If I find somewhere to hide him, you'll take me to the crates?
I'll get you into the Guild, but you're on your own after that. That's my offer. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it.
Perfect. Do a couple of items. Oh, we've got rid of that.
Do you recognize the dwarf in this iconograph?
Sorry, but they're not anyone we know.
Does this coin mean anything?
My word! That looks just like 2305.
What?
Number 2305. One of the artifacts we dug up in Sota. It's an early Sortian coin, I think. Your having one would seem to confirm that.
What makes you say that?
Well, we only found one, so we thought it might be a seal with some symbolic or cultural significance. But if there's more than one, then it's probably just a coin.
Is it valuable?
Not really.
Alright, I think that'll do.
I'll be back.
We're not going anywhere.
Two Conkers wasn't looking so good. Frankly, he was lucky to be alive. Two Conkers was in no state to talk to me.
Okay. Right, that'll do for now. So, where's the end slate? There it is. We've dropped a lot of frames. Hurrah! But I mean, it's not like this game has many frames of animation anyway. So thank you for showing up if you did. We'll continue this some other time.